Okay, scene 3 of Act 3. They're outdoors in a park near the palace. Enter 3 murderers. Earlier, Macbeth spoke to just 2 murderers, but a third one joins them. Remember, he's the spy that was mentioned? Okay, so murderer number 1 says, "But who did bid thee join with us?" Macbeth, "He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just." In other words, he knows what we're up to, so he must be in on it. "Then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spurs the lated traveler apace to gain the timely inn, and near approaches the subject of our watch. Hark, I hear horses." Banquo is off stage. "Give us a light here. Ho!" The second murderer says, "Then 'tis he. The rest that are within the note of expectation already are in the court. His horses go about." Third murderer says, "Almost a mile, but he does usually, so all men do, from hence to the palace gate, make it their walk." So he's going to get off his horse and walk, and that's when the murderers can strike. The second murderer says, "A light, a light! Enter Banquo and Fleance with a torch." The third murderer says, "'Tis he! Stand to it! It will be rain tonight." "Let it come down." He thinks he's being a badass. All right. And so they set upon Banquo. "Oh, treachery! Fly, good Fleance, fly, fly, fly!" There's a fight scene. "Thou mayest revenge." And then he gets stabbed. "Oh, slave!" And Banquo dies. Fleance, however, escapes, which ruins the whole plan. The third murderer says, "Who did strike out the light? Was not the way? There's but one down. The sun is fled. We have lost best half of our affair. Well, let's away and say how much is done." And that's the death of Banquo. Meanwhile, there's a dinner going on, and it's the worst dinner that's ever going to be, starring Macbeth. First off, he doesn't know how to throw a state dinner. For instance, everybody knows to sit at the table. When the queen sits down, that's when it's time to go to the table and eat. But Macbeth does things out of order, kind of a faux pas, if you will. All right, they're in the palace. The banquet is prepared. Enter Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Ross, Lennox, lords, and attendants. Macbeth says, "You know your own degrees. Sit down at first, and last the hearty welcome." "Thanks to your majesty. Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome." "Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends, for my heart speaks they are welcome." And then a murderer shows up at the door. It's like, that's also probably a faux pas. He's still covered with Banquo's blood. "See, they encounter thee with their hearts' thanks. Both sides are even. Here, I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth. Anon, we'll drink a measure, the table round." Then Macbeth goes to the door and talks to the murderer during dinner. "There's blood on thy face. 'Tis Banquo's, then. 'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?" "My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him." "Thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst, thou art the nonpareil." "Most loyal sir, Fleance has escaped." "Then comes my fits again. I had else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. Now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo safe. Ay, my good lord, safe in a ditch he hides, with 20 trenched gashes on his head, the least a death to nature. Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature that in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again. Exit murderer. Okay, so Macbeth knows that they screwed up, because the witch's prophecy can still come true. The offspring of Banquo still lives and could eventually become king of Scotland. All right, the murderer leaves, and so now Macbeth can get back to being a king again. "My royal lord, You do not give the cheer. The feast is sold that is not often vouched, while 'tis a-making. 'Tis given with welcome, to feed were best at home. From thence the sauce to meat is ceremony. Meeting were bare without it. Sweet remembrance, sir. Now, good digestion, wait on appetite, and health on both. May it please your highness, sit. And then a ghost of Banquo enters and sits in Macbeth's place at the table. Here had we now our country's honor roofed, were the graced person of our Banquo present, who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance. His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please it your highness to grace us with your royal company? Why, the table's full. Here's a place reserved, sir. Where? Lennox says, Here, my good lord. What is it that moves your highness? Macbeth sees the ghost sitting there. Everybody else sees an empty chair. So Macbeth becomes spooked. Which of y'all have done this? What, my good lord? Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me. Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well. Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed, and not regard him not. Are you a man? Ay, and a bold one, that dare look on that which might appall the devil. Okay, so Lady Macbeth's excuse for Macbeth talking to an empty chair is that he often has moments of insanity, and he'll be well in a little bit. Go ahead and eat while this lunatic is yelling at an empty seat. And Macbeth is still convinced that he sees it, like whatever is sitting in his chair would scare the devil himself. All right, so Lady Macbeth is about to lose it. Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and starts, impostures to true fear, would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandam. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces when all is done? You look but on a stool. All right, she's calling out his manhood again. She's saying, and she knows about the imaginary dagger that he's seen. So she knows that he imagines things and thinks that they're real. But she calls him a woman. And Macbeth says, Prithee, see there, behold, look, lo! How say you? Why, what care I, if thou canst nod? Speak too. If charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back, our monuments shall be the maws of kites. That deserves a footnote. What the heck is he talking about? The ghost of Banquo vanishes. Lady Macbeth says, What? Quite unmanned in folly. If I stand here, I saw him. Fie for shame. Blood hath been shed ere now. In the olden time, ere human statute purged the gentle wheel. Aye, and since too murders have been performed too terrible for the ear. The times have been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again, with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is. My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you. I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all. Then I'll sit down. Give me some wine. Fill full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here. To all and him we thirst, and all to all. Our duties and the pledge. The ghost of Banquo re-enters, and Macbeth sees it. Avaunt! And quit my sight! Let the earth hide thee! Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold, thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with. Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom. 'Tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time. What man dare? I dare! Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the Hyrcan tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerve shall never tremble. or be alive again, and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit then, protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence! The ghost of Banquo vanishes. Why, so being gone, I am a man again. Pray you, sit still. Oh, you have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder. Can such things be, and overcome us like a summer's cloud, without our special wonder? You make me strange even to the disposition that I owe, when now I think you can behold such sights, and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks, when mine is blanched with fear. What sights, my lord? I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once. So everybody gets up to leave. And Lennox says, good night, and better health attend your majesty. A good night to all. Exit all but Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. Whew. Wow, Lady Macbeth must be like, on pins and needles. It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move, and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by maggot pies and choughs and rooks brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night? Almost at odds with morning. Which is which? How sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding? Did you send to him, sir? I hear it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of them but in his house I keep a servant feed. That means Macbeth pays the servants of all the landowners in his kingdom and to spy on them. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will, to the weird sisters. More shall they speak, for now I am bent to know. By the worst means the worst. For mine own good all causes shall give way. I am in blood, stepped in so far that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go over. Strange things I have in head, that will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned. You lack the season of all natures. Sleep! Come, will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed. End of scene. Wow, dinner was a nightmare, a total disaster. Not only did they not follow proper eating procedures for a state dinner party, but Macbeth spent most of the time talking to murderers and yelling at ghosts that nobody else could see but him. And the only excuse Lady Macbeth could think of was, he's insane. So, and then Macbeth says, I noticed that Macduff wasn't at the party. I think that he's a traitor. So he's going to talk to the weird sisters. Like, I don't know how he's going to find them, because they find him, not the other way around. But he wants to talk to them and get counsel from them and find out what he should do next. That he has stepped in blood so far that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go over. So imagine Macbeth walking through a river of blood, and he's halfway across. So if he turns around and goes the other direction, he's still going to be just as bloody as if he just continues going the direction he was going. So he's going to continue going in the direction that he was going, which means probably more killing. We'll find out. We'll read some more later.